The data is clear. Stocks with insider purchases tend to outperform over many different periods of time. So in this video, we're going to be looking at 4 different dividend stocks that just recently had insider purchases. So let's go ahead and dive in. Coming in at number 1, we have a financial stock, KeyCorp, stock ticker KEY, and we can see they had an insider purchase very recently. In fact, if we dive into it just a little bit, we can see this was filed on February 5th, and the insider that bought was the Bank of Nova Scotia. So that's pretty interesting. And it looks like they bought over 50,000 shares, which was close to about a $900,000 value. Now, if we look at KeyCorp over the past year, they've actually done pretty well. They're currently up about 25%, and if we look at them over the past month, they're up about 5%. And if we go ahead and jump over to my dividend breakdown sheet, come up here and plug in Key, we can see all this data will automatically load in. And like always, if you'd like to be able to get access to any of my spreadsheets and also get access to the ticker data add-on in Google Sheets that allows you to automatically import stock financials straight into your spreadsheet, then you can head over to tickerdata.com at the link in the description. There is currently a 7-day free trial and a Valentine's Day sale that'll get you 30% off any of the annual plans. Now, what we can see is the starting dividend yield for this stock is actually pretty nice. It's sitting at about 4.66%, and if we look at dividend growth over the past decade, it looks really good, but the dividend growth has slowed down pretty considerably since then, with the 5-year dividend CAGR being just about 3%. Now, what's interesting about a lot of financial stocks and bank stocks in general is if you look at the dividend history for these stocks, a lot of them still haven't recovered their dividend payment to where it was pre-global financial crisis. So they were able to hike that dividend pretty rapidly in the early 2010s, but that's because they had cut the dividend by so much during the global financial crisis. We can see that dividend is still not up to where it was before the global financial crisis, so that's pretty interesting. Now, if we jump over to my stock screener, come up here and plug in Key, one of the things you'll notice is earnings per share has fluctuated quite a bit over the past decade, and it's down quite a bit from the high in 2021. Now, when we talk about bank stocks, it's really important to understand the basic concept of how these companies make money, and what are the key metrics that we need to be looking at. Well, at a very basic level, bank stocks take in deposits, and because they take in deposits, they can give out loans and earn interest. So you want to pay close attention to net interest income. But net interest income can typically really only grow over the long term if you're growing those deposits. So we want to pay attention to the average deposits for this bank, and what we can see is it does look like this has been growing over the past year, over the past few quarters, which is a good sign. Now, if we keep scrolling down on this investor's presentation, we can also see as a result, net interest income has been growing, but not only net interest income, so has net interest margin. So that margin is important. It's telling us the amount they're making on the loans they're giving out is growing more than the interest they're having to pay out on deposits. These are 2 key metrics for when you're looking at bank stocks. And so if we scroll down, let's take a look at the 9th slide. Now here we have non-interest income. So we're going to be talking about different services like corporate services, service charges, maybe cards and payments, or even investment banking. And what we can see in the case of this bank stock is investment banking and debt placement. The revenue they earned over the past year is up considerably to the prior year. It's up about 63%. So this was a huge driver of earnings over the past year. Now, here's what's interesting if we talk about the current outlook for this company in fiscal year 2025. In terms of percentage gain, KeyCorp submitted the strongest net interest income outlook for fiscal year 2025 of all the banks this earnings season. So perhaps that has something to do with the recent insider purchase. Next up on the list, we've seen multiple insider purchases from Estee Lauder, especially just in the last few weeks. If we take a closer look, we can see right here we have 2 insider purchases on February 7th, and one was an estimated value of about $5.7 million, the other close to about $50,000. Now, we can also see there were multiple insider purchases in the month of November in 2024, so just 2 or 3 months ago. And this most recent insider purchase was made by the CFO himself. So let's dig into this one. Now we can see the past year this company has been absolutely hammered. It's down about 53%, currently trading at about $68.69 on the day. If we go ahead and jump over to our dividend breakdown, come up here and plug in EL. Now what we can see when we look at the dividend yield is a decent yield of about 3.4%, but that doesn't really paint the whole picture because we don't exactly know what management's approach to the dividend is going to be in the coming years. Now, why is this? Well, look what happened in 2024. The dividend payout got reduced. In fact, if we take a scroll down and look at the dividend history, for the past 2 quarters now, the dividend has been significantly lower than where it's been over the past few years. For a while, starting in around 2013, they had a significant history of growing those dividend payments, but it did get reduced. So despite the free cash flow, as we can see, covering those dividend payments, with the exception of 2023, the company still felt like it was in their best interests to slice the dividend. We have to remember a lot of the times these European companies are much quicker to slice their dividend if they see headwinds on the horizon. But even with that dividend being sliced, we can see the 10 and 5-year dividend CAGR still looks pretty good through 2024. Now, if we go ahead and jump over to our stock screener, come up here and plug in EL, the first thing you'll notice is earnings have dropped dramatically over the past few years. In 2021, EPS got all the way up to $7.91, which was a record year, but it's dropped pretty tremendously since then. 2024 ended at $1.09 per share. So a massive drop in a short period of time. So what's the cause of this and what's the outlook moving forward? Well, a lot of it boils down to one thing. If we look at the outlook, management expects Q3 organic net sales to decline between 10 and 8%, primarily due to significant pressure in Asia travel retail from weak retail trends in Korea and ongoing challenges in mainland China. So that's the reason for the weak future outlook, but it's also a large reason for the decline in earnings we've seen over the past few years. Now, one of the things we can also see if we come down here is long-term aspirations include achieving double-digit operating margins supported by expanding restructuring efforts and operational transformations. So let's talk about margins for a moment. If we go back over to the stock screener, let's switch to the profitability page. I've already plugged in Estee Lauder right here. Now, what we can see is the 10-year average gross profit ratio for this company is about 77%, but if we look at last year, we're sitting at 71.6%. So don't get me wrong, for most companies, that is a phenomenal gross profit ratio. It's still very high. This is a luxury brand company, but we don't want to see that gross profit ratio declining over time. That's definitely going to eat into the bottom line. And what we're hearing is revenue is going to continue to go lower over the next year. So declining revenue combined with a lowering gross profit ratio, obviously not something we want to see. Now, what they're stating is they do hope to be able to expand margins potentially by double digits in some scenarios. So what's the plan for that? Well, one of the things management team did state is they plan on reducing its workforce by about 7,000 positions, which is approximately 11% of its global employees. So that will result in pretty significant cost savings for the company. Now, to put the margins into even more perspective, if we jump over to my free cash flow analysis sheet, again, come up here and plug in EL, the data will load in, but here's what I want to pay close attention to. If we zoom in, look right here at the free cash flow margin. Again, if you're not familiar with free cash flow margin, this is telling us out of every $100 in revenue the company generates, how much is actually becoming free cash flow. So we can see, it looks like from 2015 to around 2021, free cash flow margin was pretty solid. We saw double digits. Same is true in 2022. But look at 2023 and 2024. It's dropped pretty significantly from where it was over the past decade. So again, over the past decade, margins have declined, especially just in the past few years. Huge opportunity for the company there. So no doubt this company's in the midst of a turnaround play, but there does seem to be confidence from management. Third on the list is the healthcare stock, Merck & Co. Incorporated, stock ticker MRK. And this one is particularly interesting, and let me show you why. Now, to start off, what we can see is in the past month, we've had a couple of different insider purchases totaling well over $1.5 million. But look at the history for this company. What do you notice about the recent moves from insiders? Insiders have been selling off this stock for years now, and these insider purchases were the first we've seen from this company in literally years. Now, just like the great Peter Lynch once told us, insiders could sell stocks for any number of reasons, but they buy for only one. They think the stock will go up. So let's see if we think that's going to be the case for MRK. Now, in the past year, again, another stock that's been hammered, down about 31%. And if we look at just the past month alone, down 13% with a huge sell-off in early February. So let's go ahead and start digging into this. If we jump over to the dividend breakdown sheet, come up here and plug in MRK. Now, this is another stock with a decent starting dividend yield, currently sitting close to about 3.6%, and the dividend growth has actually been decent over the past decade and over the past 5 years, close to about 8%. When you consider close to an 8% dividend growth rate, that's a pretty nice combination of starting dividend yield with dividend growth, and of course, they have a history of dividend growth, especially in the past 6 to 7 years. Now, here's what's scaring everybody. Obviously, payout ratio, as a result of earnings, just an astronomical number. And then if we look at the free cash flow payout ratio, sitting about 81%. So it looks like in 2023, the company used about 81% of their free cash flow to pay out dividends. So what's going on with this number right here? Well, if we jump over to our stock screener, we can point it out. Come up here and plug in MRK. Now, what we'll see is the reason the payout ratio was so high in 2023 is look right here at earnings per share. Just 14 cents, significantly lower than prior years. So what can we expect from this company moving forward? Well, anytime we talk about a healthcare stock, we always have to remember this keyword, pipeline. The pipeline is where most of the future growth is going to come from, and what management told us in their most recent report is they noted a $50 billion revenue potential from their current pipeline with 20 potential new growth drivers. And so if we keep scrolling down, we can get a little bit more outlook with the future earnings of this company. Management expects mid to high single-digit growth in Merck's total business outside of China in 2025. So it sounds like the company's close to getting their earnings back on track. If we look at the profitability for this company, come up here and plug in MRK. One of the positives you will notice is the gross profit ratio actually has been increasing over the past decade, with the 10-year average sitting about 67% and last year's coming in at 73%. So definitely one of the positives there. So this looks like another situation where management seems to be trying to get in before the turnaround play happens. And from a valuation perspective, the company's trading at a free cash flow yield of about 6.76%, which by most standards appears to be a pretty attractive valuation. And then we have Louis Vuitton stock, and right off the bat you'll notice there have been a ton of insider purchases of Louis Vuitton in the last year, and especially when they were at their 52-week low around November and December of 2024. And then the stock started to climb again, and I thought the insider purchases might be over, but that clearly was not the case. If we scroll down, we can still see founder Bernard Arnault has been buying shares in February and a little bit in late January as well. Now, if we look at the stock over the past year, it's down about 16.3%, much like Estee Lauder. And if we look at them year to date, up about 7.66%. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Let's go ahead and plug in Louis Vuitton stock we have, and you can see the starting dividend yield is sitting at about 1.95%, and as of right now, they're paying out about $13.76 in dividends. And if we look at the dividends on a yearly basis, there's a couple of things we have to note. First off, this is a stock that pays out dividends on a semi-annual basis. So typically you're going to get 2 dividend payments per year, and the amount paid out in dividends is going to be a different amount on those semi-annual basis. So if we scroll down, you can see the dividend history right here. Again, you're typically going to have one larger and one smaller dividend payment every single year from this company. Now, if we look at the past decade or so, we can see free cash flow has been covering those dividend payments. They had about a 60% free cash flow payout ratio, and dividend growth has actually been really good. We're talking about 13, 14, or even 15% dividend growth, and it's been backed by growing free cash flow. So there is a lot to like about this stock as we look at things like the free cash flow growth, the dividend growth potential, and the dividend history, and how sustainable those dividends have been. But much like their counterpart Estee Lauder, as we're going to see in their investors presentation, they've been hurting really bad in Asia as of late. We can see Asia makes up about 28% of their revenue as of 2024. So yes, revenue is very well diversified, but Asia is a major player, and unfortunately, if we scroll down, look at what happened to revenues in Asia in 2024. We saw negative growth every single quarter in 2024, and for the full year, it came in at negative 11% growth. Meanwhile, in pretty much every other region, they're still growing, and in Japan, they're growing at a very high rate. So headwinds in Asia, definitely the main headline with this stock right now. Now, if we head over to the stock screener, I've plugged in Louis Vuitton, we can see revenue per share is growing, earnings, free cash flow per share is growing. And if we jump over to our profitability sheet, come up here and plug in LVMHF. Again, what you'll see is this is a company with pretty high margins for the industry that they operate in, and the margins have actually increased a little bit even in the past decade, with the 10-year average at 66.2 and last year's gross profit ratio at about 68.8. So again, yes, this is a company struggling in Asia. That's a short-term headwind, but I think over the long term, we're going to like the results we see from this company. And founder Bernard Arnault tends to agree. So there you go, those are 4 stocks with insider purchases. Again, Ticker Data is currently running a Valentine's Day sale where you can get 30% off any of the annual options. So if you'd like to get access to any of these completely automated spreadsheets and also access to the Ticker Data add-on in Google Sheets that allows you to automatically import stock financials straight into your spreadsheet, then you can head over to tickerdata.com at the link in the description. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.